Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the U.S. Liberty, watching the main screen with growing concern. 3 hours ago, his ship had been alone in the darkness between stars. Now, thousands of alien vessels surrounded them like angry wasps. Around a disturbed nest dot, the ships were beautiful in a terrifying way. Each one looked like it was carved from a single piece of blue crystal. They moved without sound through space, their surfaces catching and reflecting starlight in patterns that hurt to look at for too long. The smallest of these ships was twice the size of the Liberty. The largest ones were so big that Jake could see cities built into their hulls. How many are there? Jake asked his tactical officer, Ashley Turner. Ashley's fingers danced across her console, trying to get an accurate count. At least 5,000, sir. Maybe more. They keep moving around, and some of them are hiding behind the bigger ones. Jake felt his stomach drop. 5,000 ships. The entire human fleet had maybe 300 vessels, and most of those were cargo haulers or mining ships. This alien force could wipe out every human colony without breaking a sweat. Any response to our greeting messages? Jake asked. Danny Walsh, the communications officer, shook his head. Nothing, sir. I've tried every frequency we know. I've even played music and sent pictures of Earth. They're not talking. Admiral Lisa Carter stepped forward from where she had been studying the tactical display. As Earth's chief diplomatic officer, she had been aboard the Liberty for what was supposed to be a routine exploration mission. Now she found herself facing the most important first contact in human history. Keep trying, Danny, she said. Use the standard first contact protocols. Peace symbols, mathematical sequences, anything that shows we're intelligent and friendly. Dr. Amanda Price looked up from her science station. As the ship's expert on alien life, she had dreamed of this moment for years, but not like this. Not with so many weapons pointed at them. I'm reading massive energy signatures from their ships, Amanda said. Their technology is way ahead of ours. Those crystals aren't just pretty decorations. They're some kind of advanced power system. Jake nodded grimly. He had served in the Human Defense Force for 20 years. He knew what weapons looked like, and every one of those alien ships was armed to the teeth. Strange energy patterns flickered along their hulls, like lightning trapped in glass. Sir, Ashley said, her voice tight with stress. They're moving. The big ones are forming up in attack formation. On the screen, the massive alien dreadnoughts began to shift position. They moved like dancers, each ship knowing exactly where to go. Within minutes, they had formed a perfect sphere around the Liberty. There was no way out. Still no response to our messages, Danny reported. But sir, I'm picking up transmissions. Between their ships. They're definitely talking to each other. Can you understand any of it? Admiral Carter asked. No, ma'am. It's not like any language I've ever heard. But the computer is working on it. Maybe in a few hours we'll have something. Jake looked at the faces of his crew. These were good people. Danny had a wife and 2 kids back on Mars. Ashley was supposed to get married next month. Amanda had spent her whole life dreaming of meeting aliens. None of them deserved to die out here in the cold darkness. Keep working on the translation, Jake ordered, and keep sending peaceful messages. Maybe if we're patient, they'll realize we're not a threat. But even as he said it, Jake felt doubt gnawing at his gut. These aliens had appeared without warning, in numbers that could crush humanity. They weren't responding to peaceful contact attempts. And the way they moved there. Ships suggested military precision. Dr. Price suddenly straightened at her station. Captain, I'm detecting something strange about their power signatures. The energy patterns don't match anything in our databases, but there's something familiar about them. What do you mean? Jake asked. I'm not sure yet. Give me a few more minutes to run some tests. Amanda's fingers flew over her controls, running deep scans of the alien fleet. Chief Engineer Ryan Brooks chose that moment to arrive on the bridge. He was a big man with grease-stained hands and worried eyes. "Captain, I've been checking our systems. Everything's running fine. But those alien ships are putting out so much energy that it's interfering with some of our sensors. Any problems with the main systems?" Jake asked. Ryan hesitated for just a moment. "No, sir. All primary systems are working perfectly, including the special packages." Jake caught the slight emphasis on special packages and nodded. Ryan was talking about the Liberty's most classified systems, the ones that weren't supposed to exist. "Good," Jake said quietly. "Keep everything ready, just in case." On the main screen, the alien ships continued their slow, threatening dance. They were close enough now that Jake could see details on their hulls. Weapon ports, sensor arrays, and what looked like docking bays for smaller ships. This wasn't an exploration fleet. This was an invasion force. "Danny, any luck with the translation program?" Admiral Carter asked. "Getting closer, Mom. The computer thinks it's found some basic grammar patterns, but it's slow work. Their language is really different from anything human." Suddenly, the screen flashed with bright light. Every alien ship had activated powerful spotlights, all pointed directly at the Liberty. The bridge crew squinted against the glare as their ship was bathed in brilliant white light. "They're scanning us," Ashley reported. "Deep scans. They're looking at everything. Our hull, our engines, our weapons." "Let them look," Jake said calmly. "We have nothing to hide." But he caught Ryan's eye and saw the engineer nod slightly. The really important systems were hidden too. Well, for any casual scan to find them. Dr. Price made an excited sound from her station. "Captain, I think I know what's familiar about their energy signatures. The frequency patterns are similar to quantum resonance technology, but much more advanced than anything we've developed." "Is that good or bad?" Jake asked. "I'm not sure yet, but if I'm right about how their power systems work, it might be very important later." The lights from the alien ships suddenly cut off, leaving the bridge in normal lighting again. For a moment, everything was quiet except for the soft hum of the Liberty's engines. Then Danny's console erupted in sound and light. "Sir? Incoming transmission. They're talking to us." Admiral Carter stepped forward. "Put it on the main screen, Danny." The image that appeared made everyone on the bridge take a step back. The alien was tall and thin, with skin that looked like polished metal. Its eyes were solid black, and when it spoke, its voice sounded like wind through crystal caves. "Primitive creatures of the small vessel," the alien said in perfect English. "I am Fleet Commander Vex Thalar of the Zephyrian Empire. You will surrender immediately and prepare to be conquered." The silence on the bridge stretched for several heartbeats after Fleet Commander Vex Thalar's words echoed through the speakers. Captain Jake Morrison felt his jaw tighten as he processed what he had just heard. Surrender and be conquered. Number. Negotiation. No discussion. Just a simple demand backed by overwhelming force. Admiral Lisa Carter stepped forward, her diplomatic training taking over despite the shock. "Fleet Commander Vex Thalar, I am Admiral Carter, representing the human species. We come in peace and wish to establish friendly relations with your empire." The alien commander's laugh was like breaking glass. "Peace? Friendship? You are insects compared to the mighty Zephyrian Empire. We have conquered 1,000 worlds and enslaved 100 species. You will be added to our collection." On the main screen, Vex Thalar's metallic face showed no emotion beyond cold amusement. Behind him, other aliens moved about what looked like a command center filled with glowing crystal displays. Everything about their technology screamed advanced civilization. "You have one of your solar hours to surrender completely," Vex Thalar continued. Remove all weapons from your ships. Evacuate your colonies and prepare your population for transport to work camps. Resist, and we will turn your planets into glass. Dr. Amanda Price whispered urgently to Captain Morrison. Sir, a solar hour is about 60 minutes Earth time. They must have studied our planet before making contact. Jake nodded, but his attention was focused on the alien commander. Fleet Commander, we are a peaceful species, but we are not defenseless. I strongly advise you to reconsider this course of action. Vex Thalar's black eyes seemed to glitter with amusement. Defenseless? Our scans show your pathetic weapons. Metal projectiles and primitive energy beams. We have shields that could stop your entire fleet's firepower without strain. You didn't scan everything, Jake said quietly. What was that insect? Admiral Carter placed a hand on Jake's arm, warning him to be careful. But Jake had spent too many years in space, seen too many bullies who thought superior numbers meant automatic victory. I said you didn't scan everything, Fleet Commander. Your technology is impressive, but you've made assumptions about human capabilities that might not be accurate. Several alien officers on the screen looked up from their stations, apparently translating Jake's words for their commander. Vex Thalar waved them away dismissively. Your species amuses me with its defiance. Very well. You wish a demonstration of Zephyrian power? The alien commander gestured to someone off-screen. Destroy the third moon of the system's outer planet. On the tactical display, Ashley Turner watched in horror as a single alien ship moved toward the distant moon. The vessel was small by their fleet's standards, but still larger than most human battleships. Energy buildup detected, Ashley reported, her voice barely steady. They're charging some kind of weapon. The attack lasted 3 seconds. A beam of pure energy lanced out from the alien ship and struck the small moon. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then the entire celestial body simply came apart, breaking into millions of glowing fragments that slowly spread across space. Impressive, Jake said, though inside his heart was racing. The casual destruction of an entire moon showed power beyond anything humanity possessed. Almost anything. Chief Engineer Ryan Brooks had been quietly working at a side console during the exchange. Now he caught Jake's eye and nodded slightly. Whatever he had been checking was ready. Danny Walsh suddenly looked up from his communication station. Sir, I'm receiving priority transmissions from Earth Command. General Patricia Stone wants to speak with you immediately. Put her through, but keep the channel secure, Jake ordered. General Stone's face appeared on a smaller screen, visible only to the bridge crew. Her expression was grim but determined. Captain Morrison, we've been monitoring your situation. Dr. Kevin Lane has been analyzing the alien ship configurations. He says it's time to show them what we're really carrying. Jake glanced at Admiral Carter, who nodded slowly. General, are you sure? Once we reveal the package, there's no going back. Captain, they just destroyed a moon to make a point. They're not interested in peaceful coexistence. Show them why they should be. The connection ended, leaving the bridge crew to contemplate what came next. Jake looked around at his people. These aliens thought humans were primitive insects. They were about to learn otherwise. Fleet Commander Vex Thalar, Jake said, addressing the main screen again. I'm going to give you one chance to reconsider your position. Withdraw your fleet and leave this system peacefully. The alien commander's amusement was clear. Or what, insect? You will throw metal rocks at our ships? Your entire species possesses less firepower than a single Zephyrian destroyer. We don't need firepower to defend ourselves, Jake replied calmly. Ryan, begin the activation sequence. Chief Engineer Brooks nodded and began entering commands into his console. Aye, sir. Bringing the quantum disruptor network online. All Human ships and installations are receiving the synchronization signal. Dr. Price looked up sharply from her science station. Captain, I've finished analyzing their power signatures. Their quantum resonance cores operate on very specific harmonic frequencies. If my calculations are correct. Your calculations are right, Doctor, Ryan said grimly. We tested this system on similar frequencies during the asteroid mining trials. The results were ... dramatic. On the alien command ship, Vex Thalar was conferring with his officers. One of them, a female with similar metallic skin, seemed to be arguing with him. Jake could see her pointing at displays and speaking urgently. It appears some of your officers have concerns, Fleet Commander, Admiral Carter observed. Vex Thalar turned back to face them, his expression now showing irritation. Sub-Commander Kira believes your species may possess hidden weapons. I have explained to her that any species still using chemical rockets for space travel cannot threaten the Zephyrian Empire. Chemical rockets? Jake almost smiled. Is that what you think our propulsion system is? Your crude ion drives and fusion rockets are barely adequate for interplanetary travel, Vex Thalar sneered. We have traveled between galaxies while your species was still discovering fire. Lieutenant Commander Ashley Turner leaned over to Jake. Sir, all defense grid stations are reporting ready status. The mining platforms in the asteroid belt are also online and synchronized. Jake nodded. The Quantum Disruptor Network had been humanity's most closely guarded secret. Originally developed to break apart asteroids for mining, the system could disrupt the quantum bonds holding matter together. It was incredibly effective against rocky asteroids. Against ships powered by quantum resonance cores, it would be devastating. Final warning, Fleet Commander, Jake said, his voice carrying the authority of 20 years in command. Order your fleet to withdraw from this system immediately. Vex Thalar's response was swift and final. Your hour of grace is now 30 minutes. Use this time to prepare your surrender. Any further delays will result in the immediate destruction of your colonies. On the tactical screen, the alien fleet began to move into new positions. The massive dreadnoughts were forming up in groups, each group positioning itself near a different human colony. The message was clear: surrender or watch. Your worlds burn. Dr. Price suddenly gasped at her station. Captain, their quantum cores are resonating at exactly 847.3 terahertz. That's the same frequency we used to break apart the iron-nickel asteroids in the Vesta field. The asteroids that disappeared completely, Ryan added quietly. Not destroyed, completely converted to energy. Jake felt a chill run down his spine. When they had tested the quantum disruptor on those asteroids, the results had been far more dramatic than expected. The asteroids hadn't just broken apart, they had been completely converted to energy, creating miniature star-bright explosions. That could be seen from Mars. Fleet Commander, Jake said one last time, you have superior numbers and advanced technology. But numbers and technology aren't everything. Please reconsider your position before it's too late. Vex Thalar's laugh was cold and sharp. Too late for whom, insect? You speak of consideration, but you have nothing to bargain with. In 25 minutes, your species will learn the price of defying the Zephyrian Empire. The alien commander gestured again, and the screen went dark. Around the Liberty, 5,000 ships began powering their weapons, preparing to reduce human civilization to ash, and Memory. Jake looked at his crew one more time. All stations, report readiness. Quantum Disruptor Network fully online, Ryan. Reported. All human vessels synchronized and ready, Ashley confirmed. Emergency evacuation protocols are active, Danny added. All civilian populations are in secured shelters. Admiral Carter placed her hand on Jake's shoulder. Captain, are you certain about this course of action? Jake studied the tactical display, showing thousands of alien ships preparing to commit. Genocide. Admiral, they've made their choice. Now we make ours. 20 minutes remained on Fleet Commander Vex Thalara's ultimatum when Captain Jake Morrison made his decision. The alien fleet had spread across the solar system like a disease, with massive dreadnoughts positioned near every human colony. Mars, Europa, Titan, the asteroid mining stations, all were under the guns of ships that could turn worlds to glass. Jake stood before the main communications console, knowing that his next words might be the last diplomatic contact between humanity and the Zephyrian Empire. Around him, his crew worked with quiet efficiency, their faces showing the kind of calm that comes before a storm. Danny, open a direct channel to Fleet Commander Vex Thalar, Jake ordered. Channel open, sir, Communications Officer Danny Walsh replied. You are broadcasting on all frequencies. The metallic face of the alien commander appeared on the screen, his black eyes reflecting the light from his crystalline command center. Behind him, other Zephyrian officers moved between glowing displays, preparing for what they believed would be a simple massacre. Have you come to surrender, insect? Vex Thalar asked, his voice carrying the casual cruelty of someone who had destroyed countless civilizations. No, Fleet Commander. I've come to give you one final warning. Jake's voice was steady, but those who knew him could hear the steel beneath the calm surface. You still have time to withdraw your forces and leave this system peacefully. The alien commander's laugh echoed through the bridge speakers. Warning? You continue to amuse me. Your entire species possesses the military strength of a single Zephyrian patrol ship. What possible threat could you represent? Dr. Amanda Price looked up from her science station, her face pale but determined. Captain, I've completed the analysis of their quantum core systems. The resonance frequency is exactly what we predicted. Every ship in their fleet is vulnerable. Lieutenant Commander Ashley Turner was coordinating with the defense network from her tactical station. Sir, all human installations report ready status. The mining platforms in the asteroid belt are synchronized and standing by. The colonies have confirmed their shielding is active. Chief Engineer Ryan Brooks approached Jake's position, speaking quietly. Captain, the quantum disruptor network is fully charged. We have complete coverage of the system. When you give the word, every Zephyrian ship will be targeted simultaneously. Jake nodded, then turned back to the screen where Vex Thalar waited with obvious impatience. Fleet Commander, I'm going to explain something to you, though I doubt you'll listen. Humanity didn't become the dominant species on our planet through superior firepower. Then how? Vex Thalar asked mockingly. Superior intelligence? We have scanned your brains. They are adequate, but unremarkable. Adaptability, Jake said simply, and the ability to turn anything into a weapon when survival is at stake. On the tactical display, the alien fleet continued its preparations. Weapon arrays glowed with building energy. Shield generators hummed to life. Transport ships moved into position to begin loading human prisoners. Everything about their deployment screamed of an empire that had done this many times before. Dr. Grice was studying her readings with growing excitement. Captain, their confidence is their weakness. They've built their entire technology base around quantum resonance. It makes their ships incredibly powerful, but it also makes them incredibly vulnerable to the right kind of disruption. Admiral Lisa Carter stepped forward, her diplomatic instincts still hoping for a peaceful resolution. Fleet Commander Vex Thalar, surely an empire as mighty as yours doesn't need to destroy a small species like humanity. We could be valuable allies. Allies? The alien commander's tone was dismissive. We do not make allies with insects. We collect them, study them, and put them to work. Your species will serve the Empire as laborers in our mining colonies. And if we refuse? Admiral Carter asked. Then you will serve as an example to other primitive species who think to resist. Zephyrian authority. Jake felt something cold settle in his stomach. This wasn't just conquest. It was extermination with extra steps. The Zephyrians weren't interested in coexistence or even exploitation. They wanted to erase humanity's independence completely. "Ryan," Jake said quietly, "how long does the activation sequence take once we begin?" 3.7 seconds from initiation to full effect, sir," the engineer replied. "The quantum disruption propagates at light speed through their resonance network." "And civilian casualties? Zero, sir?" "Human technology operates on completely different principles. Our quantum disruptors will pass through our ships and stations without effect." On the screen, Vex Thalar was consulting with his officers. The female alien Jake had noticed before. Sub-Commander Kira was pointing at displays and speaking urgently. Her body language suggested serious concern. "Fleet Commander," Jake called out. "It seems Sub-Commander Kira has reservations about your attack plan. Perhaps you should listen to her." Vex Thalar turned back to the screen, his metallic features showing irritation. "Sub-Commander Kira believes your species may have developed weapons beyond our initial scans. I have assured her that any species still confined to a single star system cannot threaten ships that have crossed galaxies." "Single star system?" Dr. Price looked puzzled. "Sir, haven't they detected our deep space monitoring stations?" Danny Walsh checked his communications logs. "They might not recognize them as human technology. Our deep space installations are designed to look like natural phenomena from the outside." Jake realized what this meant. The Zephyrians had scanned the inner solar system, but missed humanity's true reach. They didn't know about the monitoring stations scattered throughout nearby star systems. They didn't know about the quantum relay network that connected human space in ways their technology couldn't detect. "Fleet Commander," Jake said, "you keep talking about primitive human technology. What exactly did your scans detect?" "Chemical propulsion, basic fusion reactors, primitive computers, crude metal alloys," Vex Thalar listed dismissively. "Your most advanced weapons appear to be magnetic accelerators that fire metal slugs. Laughably primitive." Ashley Turner caught Jake's eye and nodded toward her console. She had been quietly coordinating with human installations throughout the system, and every single one was ready. The quantum disruptor network wasn't just active. It was perfectly synchronized and targeted. "Those metal slugs you're so dismissive of," Jake said calmly. "What do you think we use them for? Warfare, presumably. Though they would be ineffective against even our lightest shielding." "Actually, we use them for mining," Jake replied. "Breaking apart asteroids so we can harvest their materials. But I suppose that's not very impressive to a civilization that can destroy moons." Dr. Price was practically vibrating with excitement at her station. "Captain, they really don't understand. They've scanned our kinetic weapons and fusion drives, but they completely missed the quantum disruptor network. To their sensors, it probably looks like mining equipment." "Which it was," Ryan added grimly, "before we figured out what else it could do." The final pieces of Jake's understanding fell into place. The Zephyrians had encountered countless primitive civilizations and conquered them all using the same tactics: overwhelming force, advanced technology, and the assumption that any species confined to one star system was helpless against galactic powers. But humanity wasn't confined to one star system anymore, and their mining technology had capabilities the aliens never imagined. 15 minutes remain," Vex Thalar announced. "Have you prepared your surrender?" Jake looked around his bridge one more time. His crew was ready. The defense network was active. Every human installation in the system was prepared for what was about to happen. "Fleet Commander Vex Thalar," Jake said formally, "I am Captain Jake Morrison of the United Earth ship Liberty. speaking for all of humanity. You have threatened our worlds, our colonies, and our people. You have refused all offers of peaceful contact. You have given us an ultimatum that demands our complete surrender and enslavement. Yes, Vexthalar said impatiently. And I am telling you one final time, withdraw your fleet from this system immediately. This is not a request. This is not a negotiation. This is your last chance to leave with your ships and your lives intact. The alien commander's amusement was clear. Or what, Captain Morrison? You will throw rocks at us? Send your primitive missiles against our shields? Your entire species is helpless before Zephyrian might. Jake felt a moment of genuine sadness for what was about to happen. These aliens had probably conquered hundreds of worlds, enslaved dozens of species, and never encountered real resistance. They had no idea that their greatest strength was about to become their fatal weakness. Fleet. Commander, Jake said quietly, we tried to warn you. We tried to give you every opportunity to leave peacefully. What happens next is your choice, not ours. Vexthalar's expression shifted from amusement to anger. Enough of your pathetic posturing. Begin the attack. Destroy their colonies and prepare to collect the survivors. On the tactical display, thousands of alien ships began powering their weapons to full charge. Energy readings spiked across the system as the Zephyrian fleet prepared to reduce human civilization to ash. Jake looked at Ryan Brooks and nodded once. Quantum Disruptor Network, Ryan announced. Activating in 3.2.1. The moment Ryan Brooks pressed the activation key, the Quantum Disruptor Network came alive across the entire solar system. Hidden nodes that the Zephyrians had dismissed as mining equipment suddenly revealed their true purpose. What happened next would be talked about in human history classes for centuries to come. Fleet Commander Vexthalar was in the middle of giving attack orders when the first disruption pulse hit his flagship. The bridge lights flickered for just an instant, so briefly that most of his crew didn't even notice. But Sub-Commander Kira noticed. Her head snapped up from her station, her metallic features showing sudden alarm. Commander, she called out urgently. Quantum resonance anomaly detected. What? Vexthalar turned toward her, irritation clear in his voice. Explain yourself. The human ships are emitting some kind of quantum field, Kira reported, her fingers flying over her crystalline controls. It's interfacing with our resonance cores in an unexpected way. Vexthalar waved dismissively. Impossible. Their technology is thousands of years behind ours. Continue the attack. Across the Zephyrian fleet, weapon arrays glowed with deadly energy as thousands of ships prepared to reduce human colonies to ash. The attack that would have wiped out Earth's outer settlements was seconds away from beginning. But something was going wrong with their targeting systems. On the bridge of the U.S. Liberty, Dr. Amanda Price watched her instruments with fascination and horror. Captain, the quantum disruption is propagating through their entire fleet. Their resonance cores are starting to destabilize. How long do we have? Captain Jake Morrison asked. Based on the cascade pattern, complete system failure should occur in 3.7 seconds. Chief Engineer Ryan Brooks reported. The disruption is moving faster than I calculated. Their ships are more interconnected than we thought. Lieutenant Commander Ashley Turner was monitoring the tactical display. As thousands of red dots representing alien ships began to flicker. Sir, their formation is starting to break apart. Some ships are trying to withdraw, but others are moving forward with the attack. Jake felt a moment of genuine regret. Danny, try to contact their fleet. Give them one last chance to shut down their weapons. Communications Officer Danny Walsh worked frantically at his console. I'm trying, sir, but their communications network is failing along with everything else. The quantum disruption is affecting their entire technology base. On the main screen, Fleet Commander Vexstellar was shouting orders at his crew as alarm. Signals began sounding throughout his ship. Warning lights flashed across the crystalline displays as system after system reported malfunctions. "What is happening?" Vexthael demanded. "Why are the quantum cores fluctuating?" Sub-Commander Kira's voice was tight with fear. "The human quantum field is creating a resonance cascade. Commander, we need to shut down the cores immediately." "Shut them down? We're in the middle of an attack." Vexthalar's anger was giving way to confusion as he realized something was seriously wrong. "Commander, if we don't shut down the cores, the cascade will reach critical mass." Kira was practically shouting now. "The quantum resonance will tear the ships apart from the inside." But it was already too late. The quantum disruptor network had been designed to break apart asteroids by destabilizing the quantum bonds holding matter together. Against ships powered by quantum resonance cores, the effect was catastrophic. The aliens' advanced technology was turning against them. Dr. Price watched her readings in amazement. "Captain, their quantum cores aren't just failing, they're creating a chain reaction. Each ship that loses core stability is amplifying the disruption field for nearby vessels." "Like dominoes falling," Ryan observed grimly. "They built their fleet to share power and information through quantum links. Now those same links are spreading the disruption everywhere at once." On the tactical display, the first ships began to disappear. Not destroyed by weapons or explosions, but simply ceasing to exist as their quantum cores converted matter directly into energy. Brilliant flashes of light marked where massive dreadnoughts had been moments before. Fleet Commander Vexthalar's flagship shuddered as systems throughout the ship began failing. The crystalline displays that had shown his overwhelming superiority now showed nothing but error messages and system failures. "All ships, emergency shutdown of quantum cores." He broadcast on all frequencies. But the order came too late. The cascade was already spreading through the fleet faster than anyone could react. "Sub-Commander." Kira looked up from her station with despair in her black eyes. "Commander, core shutdown is no longer possible. The quantum fields are locked in. Cascade mode. We have perhaps 10 seconds before complete system failure." Jake Morrison watched the tactical display as the largest military fleet in galactic history began to simply vanish. Ships that had conquered 1,000 worlds were disappearing in brilliant flashes of light as their own power sources tore them apart at the quantum level. "Admiral Carter," Jake said quietly, "you might want to record this for the historical archives." Admiral Lisa Carter was already doing exactly that, her diplomatic recorder capturing every moment of humanity's first interstellar conflict. "Jake, do you realize what we've just done? We've destroyed an entire invasion fleet without firing a single shot." "We didn't destroy them," Jake corrected. "They destroyed themselves. We just gave them the opportunity." The quantum cascade was accelerating now. Ships throughout the alien fleet were experiencing catastrophic failures as their advanced technology became their downfall. The resonance cores that had powered the Zephyrian Empire across galaxies were converting the fleet's own mass into pure energy. On his failing command ship, Fleet Commander Vexthalar finally understood what was happening. The primitive humans he had dismissed as insects had turned his fleet's greatest strength into its fatal weakness. Their crude mining technology had somehow interfaced with Zephyrian quantum systems in a way that caused total cascade failure. "How?" he whispered, staring at the tactical display as ship after ship vanished in brilliant explosions. "How did they know?" Sub-Commander Kira, working frantically at her console, looked up with something like admiration in her voice. "Commander, their technology isn't primitive at all. It's different. They've developed quantum manipulation from a completely different scientific foundation. To our sensors, it looked like mining equipment because that's what they built it for. Mining equipment that can destroy our entire fleet? Mining equipment that can disrupt quantum bonds, Kira corrected. They probably used it to break apart asteroids for raw materials. But quantum disruption works the same way, whether you're targeting rocks or resonance cores. Vex the Lar felt the deck plates vibrating under his feet as his flagship's quantum core moved toward critical failure. Around him, his crew worked desperately to maintain basic life support as system after system went offline. "Open a channel." "To the human ship," he ordered. "Communications are failing, Commander. I can try, but ... Do it." The main screen flickered to life, showing Captain Morrison's calm face. Behind the human, his crew worked efficiently at their stations, monitoring the destruction of the most powerful fleet in known space. "Captain Morrison," Vex the Lar said, his voice heavy with defeat. We underestimated your species." Jake's expression showed no triumph, only sadness. "Fleet Commander, we tried to warn you. We gave you every chance to withdraw peacefully." "How?" Vex the Lar asked. "How did you know our technology could be turned against us?" "We didn't," Jake replied. "Honestly, we developed quantum disruption technology for asteroid mining. When we detected your power signatures, our scientists realized they operated on similar principles. We hoped we'd never have to test it." The alien commander looked around his failing bridge, where his crew struggled to maintain basic systems. "My ship is dying, Captain Morrison. My entire fleet is dying. You have won a victory that will be remembered across the galaxy." "This wasn't about victory," Jake said quietly. "This was about survival. You gave us no choice." Vex the Lar nodded slowly, understanding finally dawning in his black eyes. "You are not the primitive species we believed you to be." "No," Jake agreed. "We're not." The transmission cut out as the alien flagship's power systems finally failed. Completely. On the tactical display, Ashley Turner watched the last of the Zephyrian ships disappear in flashes of converted matter. "Fleet status?" Jake asked. "All enemy vessels have been neutralized," Ashley reported. "No human casualties. All colonies report secure status." Dr. Price looked up from her science station, her face showing a mixture of awe and horror. "Captain, do you realize what we've just witnessed? The complete destruction of an interstellar invasion fleet in under 4 seconds." "I realize it," Jake said softly. "And I hope we never have to do anything like it again." The solar system was quiet now, with only the expanding clouds of exotic particles marking where thousands of ships had been moments before. Humanity had won its first interstellar war, but the victory felt hollow. An entire fleet, probably containing millions of aliens, had been destroyed because their leaders refused to listen to warnings. "Danny," Walsh looked up from his communications console. "Sir, I'm receiving transmissions from across the galaxy. Word of what happened here is already spreading." "What kind of transmissions?" Admiral Carter asked. "Mostly just acknowledgement." The silence that followed the destruction of the Zephyrian fleet was unlike anything Captain Jake Morrison had ever experienced. Space, which moments before had been filled with thousands of alien warships, now contained only slowly expanding clouds of exotic particles that glowed with the fading energy of quantum cascade failures. Jake stood on the bridge of the UES Liberty, staring at the main display where tactical markers had once shown an overwhelming enemy force. Now there was nothing. 5,000 ships and their crews had simply ceased to exist in the span of 3.7 seconds. "Damage report," Jake said quietly, though he already knew the answer. Lieutenant Commander Ashley Turner checked her console. "No damage to any human vessels or installations, sir. The quantum disruption field passed through our technology without effect, just as predicted." Dr. Amanda Price was still studying her instruments, trying to understand exactly what had happened. Captain, the quantum cascade was even more complete than our models suggested. The Zephyrian ships didn't just explode, they were converted directly to energy at the subatomic level. Admiral Lisa Carter activated her diplomatic recorder, speaking into it with a voice that sounded older than it had an hour ago. Personal log, Admiral Carter. Today marks the first contact between humanity and an alien civilization. It also marks the complete destruction of that civilization's invasion fleet. The irony is not lost on me that our first interstellar war lasted less than 4 seconds. Chief Engineer Ryan Brooks was running diagnostics on the Quantum Disruptor Network, making sure the system was properly shut down. All disruption nodes are offline and safe, Captain. The network performed exactly as designed, though I don't think any of us expected to use it this way. Jake nodded, then turned to Communications Officer Danny Walsh. Danny, what's the status on those galactic transmissions you mentioned? Danny's face was pale as he studied the flood of incoming signals. Sir, it's incredible. We're receiving acknowledgement signals from dozens of different star systems. Word of what happened here is spreading faster than light through some kind of galactic communication network. What are they saying? Admiral Carter asked. Most of them are just confirmation signals. But I'm starting to get some that look like they might be messages. Give me a few minutes to run them through the translation program. Dr. Price looked up from her science station with a troubled expression. Captain, I've been thinking about the implications of what we've done. The Zephyrian Empire conquered hundreds of worlds. If their entire military was built around quantum resonance technology, then every ship they have is vulnerable to our disruption field, Jake finished. The question is whether they'll see this as a reason to negotiate or a reason to build different kinds of weapons. Admiral Carter was studying reports from Earth Command on her personal display. According to General Patricia Stone, our deep space monitoring stations had detected massive fleet movements throughout the galaxy. It seems the Zephyrians weren't the only ones watching this encounter. Jake felt a chill run down his spine. How many observers? At least a dozen different civilizations had ships positioned at the edge of our system. They were probably expecting to watch humanity get conquered and decide whether they wanted to be next on the Zephyrian target list. And instead they watched the Zephyrians get completely destroyed by a mining tool, Ryan observed grimly. That's going to change a lot of calculations across the galaxy. Danny Walsh suddenly straightened at his console. Sir, incoming transmission. It's not using any frequency we know, but the computer is translating it automatically. Put it on the main screen, Jake ordered. The image that appeared was startling in its simplicity. A small blue-skinned alien with large eyes sat in what looked like a modest spacecraft cabin. When it spoke, its voice was soft and musical. Greetings, humans of Earth, the alien said. I am Ambassador Zeal of the Centaurian Republic. We have been monitoring your encounter with the Zephyrian Empire with great interest. Admiral Carter stepped forward. Ambassador Zeal, I am Admiral Carter. We're pleased to make peaceful contact with your people. The pleasure is ours, Admiral. Carter, the Centaurian Republic has been fighting a defensive war against Zephyrian expansion for over 200 years. We lost 3 colony worlds to their fleets before developing shields capable of withstanding their attacks. Jake joined the conversation. Ambassador, we're sorry for the destruction that occurred here. We tried to give them chances to withdraw peacefully. Ambassador Zeal's large eyes showed what might have been amusement. Captain Morrison, the Zephyrian Empire has destroyed over 50 civilizations in the past millennium. They enslaved entire species and used their populations as forced labor. What you did here today was not destruction. It was justice. Dr. Price looked puzzled. Ambassador, if your people have been fighting the Zephyrians for centuries, how? Did you know about our encounter so quickly? The galaxy maintains a quantum communication network, Zeal explained. When the Zephyrian fleet disappeared from existence, the quantum signature was detected across dozens of star systems instantly. Within minutes, every spacefaring civilization in this part of the galaxy knew that the greatest military threat in known space had been neutralized. Danny Walsh was monitoring other incoming transmissions. Sir, I'm getting similar messages from at least 15 other civilizations. They're all congratulating us on defeating the Zephyrians. Admiral Carter felt overwhelmed. 15 civilizations? How many spacefaring species are there? In this galactic region? Perhaps 300, Ambassador Zeal replied calmly. Most of them have been living in fear of Zephyrian expansion for generations. Today, that fear ended. Jake was beginning to understand the scope of what had happened. Ambassador, are you saying the Zephyrian Empire was threatening the entire galaxy? Not threatening, Captain Morrison. Conquering. They controlled approximately 40% of all habitable worlds in this spiral arm. Their expansion was accelerating, and most military analysts believed they would achieve total galactic domination within 500 years. Chief Engineer Brooks whistled softly. And we stopped all of that with a mining tool. Not just any mining tool, Dr. Price corrected. A quantum disruption field that works by destabilizing molecular bonds. We developed it to break apart asteroids, but it turns out it works even better on quantum resonance cores. Ambassador Zeal leaned forward. With interest. Dr. Price, your species' approach to quantum technology is unique. Most civilizations, including the Zephyrians, develop quantum resonance from a physics foundation based on harmonic amplification. Your technology appears to be based on harmonic disruption. That's correct, Dr. Price confirmed. We discovered that by creating specific quantum interference patterns, we could break the bonds holding matter together at the subatomic level. It's incredibly useful for mining operations, and incredibly deadly to any technology based on quantum resonance cores. Jake added grimly. Danny Walsh looked up from his console with excitement. Sir, I'm getting a priority transmission from Dr. Kevin Lane at Earth Command. He says the quantum disruptor network has applications we never imagined. Jake activated the secure channel. Dr. Lane's face appeared on a side screen, his expression mixing excitement with concern. Captain Morrison, I've been analyzing the data from your encounter. The quantum disruption effect didn't just destroy the Zephyrian ships. It sent quantum signatures throughout their entire civilization's technology network. What does that mean, Doctor? Admiral Carter asked. It means every piece of Zephyrian technology in the galaxy just received the same disruption signal that destroyed their fleet. Their entire civilization's technology base is probably failing right now. The bridge fell silent as the implications sank in. Jake had thought they had destroyed an invasion fleet. Instead, they had apparently crippled an entire galactic empire. Ambassador. Zeal's voice broke the silence. Dr. Lane is correct. We are receiving reports from throughout Zephyrian space. Their cities, their starships, their industrial facilities, everything powered by quantum resonance cores is experiencing cascade failures. How many people are we talking about? Jake asked, dreading the answer. The Zephyrian Empire contained approximately 400 billion individuals across 1,200 worlds. Zeal replied solemnly. However, their slave species numbered in the trillions. As their technology fails, those enslaved populations are being freed. Admiral Carter sat down heavily in her chair. We've accidentally caused the collapse of an entire civilization. A civilization built on conquest and slavery. Ambassador Zeal reminded her gently. Captain Morrison, Admiral Carter, your species has freed more people today than any single action in recorded galactic history. Dr. Price was studying new data flowing in from Earth's deep space monitors. "Captain, I'm detecting massive ship movements throughout former Zephyrian space. It looks like their subject species are rising up as the Empire's control systems fail." Jake looked around his bridge at the faces of his crew. These were good people who had been defending their homes against an overwhelming threat. None of them had intended to topple a galactic empire or free trillions of enslaved beings. "Ambassador Zeal," Jake said finally, "what happens now? How does the galaxy react to something like this?" The blue-skinned,